The killer whale nightmare. A veteran SeaWorld trainer in Florida killed by one of the largest killer whales in captivity. Her tragic death ignited a fired-up debate today that's making for big news breaking. Tonight, Showbiz Tonight dares to ask, is it wrong to use dangerous animals in entertainment? Disturbing details unfolding tonight. Tilikum, the killer whale, dragged Dawn Brancheau into his tank before she drowned. Tilikum was associated with 2 other deaths, but was it really the whale's fault? He's a wild animal in confinement. Sparking the debate even more, SeaWorld insisted today they plan to keep the killer whale. Some are saying it should be freed or put down. Tonight, the great killer whale debate. Joining me tonight in Jupiter, Florida, Jack Hanna, who is a renowned wildlife expert, host of Jack Hanna's Into the World, and director emeritus at the Columbus Zoo. He also knew the victim, Dawn Brancheau. Joining me tonight in New York, Jane Velez Mitchell, who is the host of HLN's Issues with Jane Velez Mitchell and author of the book, I Want. Okay, let the great debate begin. Jack, I'll begin with you. What do you say to people who claim it is wrong to use dangerous animals like Tilikum, the killer whale, unnaturally confined just for entertainment?
Well, first off, in your intro, obviously the tone has been set already that you're talking about dragging, you're talking about entertainment. But before I say that, Dawn was a friend, a beautiful person, right, a person that's gone now, and she would want her life to be continued educating folks around the world about the killer whale. With that said, you said entertainment. There's much more involved here than entertainment. A lot of education is involved here to tens of millions of people over the last 40 years that SeaWorld has accomplished, and that can never be replaced.
Yeah, and you knew Dawn for close to 10 years or more, right? She would not have wanted this killer whale put down, as some people are calling for.
That's almost something that SeaWorld probably won't discuss. I'm not at SeaWorld, obviously. I don't have any decisions there. But I'm sure that won't happen. And I'm sure also I've heard that release the whale back out into the wild. That's virtually impossible. Anybody that knows anything about whales or knows very little knows that whale might have 2 or 3 days at the most out there. That's not what you can do with an animal that's been in a situation at SeaWorld for many, many years.
Yeah, go ahead, Jane.
Okay.
You know, Jack talking about there's more than entertainment going on here. There's research,
there's also
science,
profit.
There's knowledge.
It's a profit-making company. They are making millions off this animal, and they have done it by torturing it. The word is in captivity. That means captive, captured. It's no fun for human beings. It's tortured for animals. This animal was born in the wild in the waters off Iceland and was captured in 1983, an incredibly traumatic event, and it has been kept in tiny confinement for the rest of its life, more than a quarter of a century, swimming around in circles, which for the human equivalent would be like staying in a bathtub for more than a quarter of a century. Of course it's angry. Of course it wants to lash out. This is unnatural, and I don't think it's that educational. It splashes the visitors with its tail with water at the end of a show. This is about making money, and the word science is a cover. Let's put it this way. The Japanese say they do scientific whaling, and they go out and they kill indiscriminately whales. They use the word science too, and it's nonsense.
Jack, you are an animal expert here. Would you describe these whales in confinement as torture, as torment for them, and that there is no scientific value?
Right. Jane, what's your background, by the way?
I'm an animal activist. I care about animals, and I don't
really?
have to wear a hat to care about animals.
Right.
Okay, let's give each other
Jane,
time.
Can I talk a minute?
Time out, because I don't like the tone. I don't like where this is going. I think we all need to respect one another's opinions, even if we do disagree. Jack, with that said, you go ahead.
Right. Thank you. I spent 40-something years working with animals and dedicated my life to the animal world. And I don't appreciate what Jane is saying as far as the education that the whales are in a tank in like a bathtub. I mean, I guess she knows a lot about whales. I don't see that. I see content animals, number one, that breed, that eat well, that aren't sick. And when you look at animals like that, and you see the Tilly, you see other whales there, you see that Tilly fathered many whales there at SeaWorld. And by the way, over 95% of the whales at SeaWorld are born at SeaWorld. Just as in the zoological world, we have 99% of our animals come from other zoos, not from the wild. And when you see that last year 168 million people visited our zoos and aquariums, obviously we're doing something right.
Well, let me say, SeaWorld made it clear today they have made the controversial decision to keep the killer whale, not release Tilikum back into the wild, even though this whale has been involved in 2 other deaths before killing this trainer. One
Right.
whale expert with the Oceanic Society said that it was only a matter of time before Tilikum attacked. Watch this.
Well,
In Tilikum's case, it was a time bomb waiting to go off. He had a history. All you had to do was read, his rap sheet, and you could have figured out at some point he's going to show some aggression again.
Okay, Jack, I understand that this is not the whale's fault, but to Jane's point, why keep an animal in confinement for largely entertainment purposes when that animal is going to be so close to humans, so close to children, and that animal has already proven to be dangerous?
right, real quickly. The person that was killed several years ago was a person that snuck in the park at nighttime, a guy that was a transient that jumped in the tank, came over the fences and went in there naked to swim with a whale. You can't blame SeaWorld or Tilly for that one. The other death up in Canada, my understanding was that the body was found in the whale's mouth. They don't know if the person fell in or what happened with that one. Yes, there was 2 people that lost their lives to that whale. But I still believe, and I always will to my deathbed, that what we do in the zoological world and what SeaWorld does is invaluable. She talks about making millions of dollars off these whales. Does anyone ever consider the millions of dollars when JJ, the gray whale, was stranded? And who was the first people out there? Who are the first people that take care of most manatees in the world, release the manatees out in the wild?
Can I say
SeaWorld,
something?
Yeah, go ahead, Jane,
Let me
hop
finish.
in.
Wait, you said something. Let me respond.
SeaWorld
There are
spends
many
tens of millions.
ways.
Let me finish my sentence, please. SeaWorld spends tens of millions of dollars each year releasing animals back into the wild. You cannot argue that, Jane.
The
bookkeeping is there.
It spends out. It's a very, very,
Oh, Jane,
very
please.
profitable
Jane, you have no proof
corporation.
of that.
And let
You
me,
have no proof of
I
that.
have no proof that SeaWorld is
No.
a profitable corporation.
Of course they are,
Oh,
Jane.
Please.
Of course they are.
Listen.
Of course they are.
Let me
Okay,
say
Jane,
this.
weigh in. You obviously disagree with what Jack is saying.
I respectfully tried to disagree. I agree with Jack on one thing. The animal should not be put down. We're both in agreement on that. And
Right.
I have no animosity toward Jack. I'm just expressing my opinion. I don't feel that either one of us can say that, oh, we speak for the animals and the other does not. I mean, animals can't speak. They're voiceless. We have to speak for them. That's why I'm speaking out. And, if you want to help these animals, there are a slew of nonprofit organizations, Sea Shepherd, Greenpeace, International
I
Fund
think the
for Animal
difference is
Welfare.
that, Jane, what do you think? Should places like SeaWorld and circuses and zoos, should they all
No.
be shut down? I think the
think
difference
that we
is
should
here.
have
Jack's saying, no, keep them
sanctuaries.
open. There's some valuable reasons
We
that they
should
are
have
open. in addition to the
sanctuaries,
entertainment.
and sanctuaries are being created by the Brazilian government and the Chilean government, thousands and thousands of miles of coastland where these animals can roam free, protected in sanctuaries. So I dispute the notion that they cannot be released into the wild because sanctuaries are being created and have been created as we speak.
Right, Jane,
And
would
Jack,
you agree,
what's your
though?
response to that? Go ahead.
Jane, would you agree, though, because we both love animals, that when a person loves something, they want to save something? A lot of people like yourself or both of us probably have the means to go out and I film in the wild on half the year. So a lot of people can't do that. So when people go to SeaWorld, this is my opinion, that young people see that animal, they have a love for that animal, they might want to save that animal. And that's what I'm trying to say here. The value of that, yes, would Jack Hanna love to see everything back out in the wild in the whole world? That can't happen in the lifetime of this planet the way it is today. The wild is not the pleasant place as it used to be. So all I'm saying is what I think SeaWorld does and what we try and do is educate folks to have a love for these creatures.
Well, I just want to say
And there are accidents that do happen, obviously, through that education. One thing we can all absolutely agree on here, we are all animal lovers.